First of all, why are you leaving? Because it caught all of us by surprise.
Well, I've been commuting from Connecticut, 3 young children in Connecticut, and really haven't seen them in the last 2 years. I usually spend 1 day a week home on Saturday. So it's been tough. This is really a difficult decision to step down from this job. I've loved this position. I feel we've accomplished a lot, but it's been a tough 2 years commuting from Connecticut.
We've loved having you in this position. I can understand family concerns. But when you made that announcement, the stocks of all of these cigarette companies jumped on the idea that there's not going to be anybody there who's policing it the way you have been.
Well, look, the policies that we put in place are going to go forward. I'm very confident of that. The policy making that I did while I've been in this position has been through a very deliberate process where I built consensus. The Secretary of Health and Human Services is extremely supportive of what we've done on tobacco. The White House is supportive. They put out a supportive statement yesterday, a fact sheet. I got tweets out from the White House as well supporting what we did. So I feel very confident that the roadmap has been cast, and this is going to go forward, including what we announced yesterday, the crackdown on the sale of the flavored products in convenience stores, putting in place heightened age verification requirements so that kids can't get access to those products that they find most appealing.
What happened in your meetings yesterday with Altria and Juul?
Well, I talked to them about the future. The 2019 National Youth Tobacco Survey, which we're in the field with right now, collecting that data, shows another spike in teen use. We're going to be back making new policy in the fall. And one of the things that we're going to have to examine is whether we take the entire category of pod-based e-cigarettes off the market. At some point, the youth use of those products becomes so intolerable that they have no redeeming public health value, and we'll just have to sweep the market of those products. And that includes Juul. Those are the products that are being abused by the children, and their own data shows that. In fact, Altria made the decision to remove their pod-based products and their flavored products in particular from the market and sent me a 15-page letter where they said that they felt that the pod-based products were what was driving the youth use of these products. So they recognized that with their data. I recognized that with my data, and then they went out and made an investment in Juul. So we're going to be looking at doing the same thing this fall if this data continues to show these kinds of spikes.
Doctor, let's talk a little bit about that. I saw a lot of people on the Twitter sphere kind of picking up after your resignation saying that the move that you've made is unwarranted, that it's going to hurt people's lives. Even somebody like Grover Cleveland was tweeting that you're going to kill people by not allowing them to have this alternative to get them off cigarettes. Run through the teen data again to describe why this is such a high priority for you.
Well, look, we believe these products can help currently addicted adult smokers transition off combustible tobacco onto products that don't have all the same risks as smoking. And these products are not risk-free. We have data showing, toxicology data showing changes to the membrane of tissue in both animal studies and human studies that these e-cigarettes do cause problems. And that's why you don't want any child using them, not least of which is that the kids are going to become addicted to nicotine. But the data shows a tremendous spike in the youth use. Last year, high school use of these e-cigarettes went up 78%. Middle school use went up about 50%. We have fully 30% of all American kids now using some form of tobacco products. And if the use of e-cigarettes goes up another 40 or 50% this year, which it may, we're going to be at levels of 40 to 45% of tobacco use in this country. We've never seen that among children. And some proportion of these kids who now are addicted to nicotine are going to become long-term smokers of combustible cigarettes. So all the dramatic gains that we've made in reducing smoking among kids over the last decades is going to be reversed.
Dr. Gottlieb, first I want to thank you for your service. It's a remarkable thing, and you've had support on both sides of the aisle throughout your service, and I think that's worth noting. I just wanted to know what the great lesson, having now been in Washington in this role, is in terms of, we often talk about the role of money in corporations in terms of pressuring lawmakers on all sides. What you've seen and what you think you could tell us that we didn't know already.
Well, it sounds like you know a lot already about Washington. I think that in terms of, I'll tell you why I think we were successful making policy. We went through very careful processes when we made policy. I was up on the Hill every week talking to members of Congress. I would call them when I rolled out announcements to talk to them about it. I was in touch with their staff. I was briefing the White House, working with the Department, the Secretary, made sure I had his support when I went forward. So when we went forward with an initiative, we had a broad consensus. We had built in the support. So when the companies came around and criticized what we were doing, people had heard from me first, and they understood what the problem we were trying to solve. That's why I'm so confident that everything that we did is going to endure, because I built the support up front. People are now bought into what we did, and they're going to support it to the finish line.
Commissioner, the other issue that you've done is try to make it easier for there to be more competition when it comes to drugs and other things by speeding that process up on approvals. Do you think that will continue?
Absolutely. And I'm going to be talking today. We're going to be releasing some new policy today about some additional innovations that we're going to be implementing in the clinical trial process to try to bring new drugs to the market, not just generic drugs, but also branded drugs. One of the things we've seen is that when it comes to innovative branded drugs, when you have a new drug in a new category, so a brand new drug that's really a real change from a prior medication that might have treated a given disease, the time it takes to get a second innovation in that category to market has gotten longer. So a first-in-class drug will come to the market, it will charge a monopoly price, but trying to get a second-to-market drug in that same category has taken longer and longer, and many more drugs remain first-in-class drugs for long periods of time and never face any competition. So one of the things we want to do is make it easier to innovate on the new drug side as well, so you have more competition when it comes to the new drugs, the innovative drugs.